Today on Point Choices, we're making overnight yeast waffles with fried chicken and a hot honey butter drizzle. So good, I had to make another song about breakfast for it. If you haven't tried yeast waffles yet, get ready to have your taste buds and minds blown. And who doesn't like a little fried chicken on the side, right? It's the best of both worlds, and if you're gonna have your heart explode, at least do it happy. Do you like chicken? And do you like waffles? Let's put them together. Starting off, we need to prep the night before for both the chicken and the waffles. There are definitely quicker batters and fried chicken methods, and I'm not mad at you if you don't want to put that time and effort in, but just know you might be missing out something truly amazing and special. So get your food scale out, because we're measuring with grams today, yay! Starting with 200 grams of room temperature water and a nice big pinch of yeast. Now I'm using rapid rise instant yeast and not the dry active stuff, just FYI, and that does matter a bit here. And as far as that pinch size, just enough to cover the surface of the water. Give it about a minute or so to do its thing, and then we'll add in 200 grams of all-purpose flour here, and then mix it up. This is called a Poolish. It's a version of a sourdough starter, except it doesn't use natural or wild yeast. Remember when everyone was making sourdough during the pandemic? Begin mixing it up and you'll notice it gets nice and thick and gloopy, so don't use a weak ass spoon here. Mix it up until well combined, and stirring from the bottom and bringing to the top will definitely make sure that that happens. Also, if you're wondering why I even bother with all of this, it brings such a unique flavor as well as ensuring some nice crispiness on the outside of that waffle. Then we'll leave it on the counter overnight at room temperature. 12 to 24 hours is essentially what we're looking for here. Next is the chicken. Since we have to wait overnight to do the waffles, we might as well get our chicken in a buttermilk bath overnight too. So I'm using a combination of wings and boneless, skinless thighs here because I love how juicy they stay. I used about 1.5 pounds of each, so 3 pounds total, and you can get away with much less. This was just my only option when I was at the store. Also, use a big enough container. As you can see, I grossly underestimated how much chicken I had. Then we'll pour enough buttermilk to completely cover our chicken. This might have been about 3 cups or so, but it was really just what I had left over in the container. And to that, we'll add in 1 tablespoon of sea salt or kosher salt, 1/2 tablespoon of garlic powder, 1/2 tablespoon of onion powder, what was supposed to be 1 tablespoon of hot sauce, but obviously I got heavy-handed here, and 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika. Alternatively, you could have used a Cajun seasoning here, which both are honestly delicious. Today, this was a choice because I'm trying to use up some spices before they expire. Check the dates on your spices, folks. Give that all a thorough mixing and then let that hang out overnight in the fridge. Don't mix those up, okay? The chicken goes in the fridge, the Poolish stays on the counter. I know it sounds stupid, but somebody just might. So now it's the next morning. We've been super disciplined and patient. I've got 1.5 sticks of unsalted butter here that I'm going to put over a medium heat to brown it a bit. You'll notice the melting butter starts to foam, and then those milk solids will begin to fall to the bottom of the pan, and they'll begin toasting, and that is essentially our browning. Once achieved, we need to stop it from going any further, so I'll kill the heat and then add in 240 grams of cold milk. Give that a stir and really hit the bottom of that pot to loosen up those toasted milk solids, okay? Then we'll add in 240 grams of cold buttermilk. And it is important to note here that you must do the milk first, then the buttermilk, okay? If you add in the buttermilk first, the high heat will cause it to get all grainy and nasty. And here's an example of just that because I mixed up my containers. So don't be like me, be smarter. So cold milk first, stir for like 2 minutes, then cold buttermilk, stir some more. By now, this should have cooled things down enough, so let's get back to our Poolish. We'll get all of it into a mixing bowl, and then we'll add in 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1 large egg, and all of our browned butter milk mixture. Give that a lovely whisking until it's all well incorporated, because if you don't, it's not going to look sexy. Once mixed, we'll add in 275 grams of all-purpose flour, 10 grams of salt, 35 grams of sugar, and 3 grams of baking soda. And I apologize in advance for going back and forth between grams and measuring spoons. Whenever I'm researching recipes, I go through hundreds of blogs and Reddit posts and videos and all this and that, and I'm just kind of picking the pieces of things that I like and want to put together, and they don't always convert, so my apologies. I also could just use my college education and learn how to convert these things myself, but come on, where's the fun in that? Lastly, a dash of cinnamon to warm things up. Whisk together until the batter is formed, and this will keep for about 2 days in your fridge, so don't feel the need to cook it all up at once. Also, just know that you probably will mess up the first waffle, so it's fine having some extra batter while you fine-tune your waffle iron's temperatures in. At this point, you can just make waffles and put whatever syrup and toppings on it, and you're good. Breakfast is done. But we still have some chicken to make. And you don't have to make these both together, but boy, is it a good combination. So to a mixing bowl, let's make our seasoned flour for the chicken. I've got 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 1/3 a cup of cornstarch, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 2 teaspoons of onion powder, 2 teaspoons of kosher salt, and 2 teaspoons of coarse black pepper. And again, you could just go with like 4 tablespoons total of Cajun seasoning here if you want to. It's all up to you. Mix it all up, and now let's get our chicken out the fridge. We want a few tablespoons of that buttermilk mixture added to our seasoning to help create those delicious crackles that form on fried chicken. Then we'll take out a few pieces of chicken, shake off the excess, and place it into our seasoned mixture. Give it all a good thorough mixing, really squeezing the chicken to ensure the seasoning is not only sticking but also getting in everywhere, all those little nooks and crannies. Then I'm just placing them as I finish them onto a small baking sheet so the flour can hydrate. All these steps with adding some of the buttermilk to the flour and then letting the flour hydrate will ensure we get good crispy crunch on that chicken. And one last thing before we fry up our chicken and waffle, this is optional, and mainly I made this for those who prefer honey with their waffles. It's a spicy honey butter sauce, and you can totally go all syrup like I would, but I wanted to give you all some fun options. So we're adding 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter to a pot over medium heat, then a 1/4 cup of honey, half a teaspoon of chili powder, and half a teaspoon of kosher salt. Mix that up until it all comes together, taste it to see if it needs anything, kill the heat, and that's it. Cover it up to keep it warm. Now the fun part. I've got this handy dandy Cuisine Art single rotating waffle iron. After all the reviews I read about which waffle iron to get, the flipping models were the most recommended. And they do have a version of this that can do 2 waffles at a time, but I'll never be making that many waffles, so this single waffle maker was fine for me. And I'll try to link it down in that little shopping section, although hilariously half the things I try to tag are always sold out. Go figure, right? So get your waffle iron preheated and give it a good spraying down with some cooking spray. I've got this pan here, and I'm using the measuring cup that came with my waffle iron, which came out to be about 3/4 a cup of batter. Then we just put our batter down. We can spread it out using the bottom of that cup, and then we close the lid and we flip. A light will come on when it's time to flip back over, and then we check, and if we're satisfied with how brown it is, we remove it and we keep on going. Again, don't be surprised if you mess the first waffle up. And I think I also noticed that mine was cooked perfectly whenever the steam stopped coming out the back of the unit. Also, we can make our chicken the same time we're doing this, which just requires getting some oil heated up to 350 degrees and dropping the chicken in for about 8 minutes, or until the wings and thighs are temping at 175 or above. Definitely the perfect time to have a food thermometer. And once the chicken was done, I hit it with some salt and then drizzled some of that honey butter sauce on and gave them a tossing. You can also just drizzle this on the chicken and waffles at the very end, but definitely don't skip hitting the chicken with salt as soon as it comes out the fryer. Then we plate. Get your waffle down, your chicken on top, and drizzle either more of that honey butter sauce or maple syrup or both. Go crazy. You did all that work. You did it. You deserve whatever you want, along with a very generously poured mimosa to complete the breakfast experience. Hey everyone, this is Poor Choices Kitchen. We have a Patreon link down in the description. $1 a month is all we ask for there, although you are more than welcome to donate as much as you want there. And we also have YouTube memberships. That's $2.99 flat rate because YouTube likes to take its cut. Both go a long way in paying for these recipes in these here inflated times. And I can't wait to use this waffle iron for a few more recipes later this summer. I saw some red velvet waffles that looked amazing, and there's like a jalapeno waffle that you could do chicken on. So many options, and I can't wait to share them with you. So until next time, I'll see you.